So we've just reached our first park up of our biggest trip yet at Glencon Kill, and just to let you know, it is not a drive for the faint of heart. So it's not, we've done that drive before in a car and it was like, yeah, no problem, but in the van it's a different story altogether. So I just want to do a quick damage inspection, make sure everything's still attached, and then we're going to take Rosie for a wee dab. So we're actually parked up in what I think is a car park for the called the Folk Village, which is like a famine village sort of thing, and you can pay a small fee for entry and have a look around what is sort of like from famine times, like wee village from famine times. It looks really, really cool, and I didn't realise the park up was literally across from it. Like.
So I'm standing next to which is a commemorative sculpture. And it's a collaborative sculpture that was crafted in native Irish stones by stonemasons from each country in honour of the events of 1916 in Ireland. So what's your first impressions?
Very impressed. So yeah, just the whole scenery and the drive down was amazing, and then it's just an absolute cracking spot, like, so it is. I don't think we've ever been here before, so it's the first for us. And then Rosie's enjoying herself too. She's down a hole here, so she's just watching her. Make sure she doesn't go for another swim.
As far as first impressions go, this one was breathtaking and absolutely blew us out of the water for what we were expecting. The rocky crags along this Irish beach was the perfect place for us and Rosie to explore. The Wild Atlantic Way was beautiful.
So now that we have had a bit of a rest, we are now going to make dinner, and we're going to have dinner with a lovely view of the water. So we said in our previous videos we had a secret item coming, and that is actually a All Powers power bank. So All Powers have actually reached out to us and sponsored us with a power bank and solar panels. Now we're going to do a dedicated video for this, but what you're going to see is us actually using it on the trip, and sort of we'll talk a wee bit about it as we sort of use it. So having this actually allows us to bring our air fryer. Now you'll see that we have two drawers. That's because it's the air fryer from our house, but we can only sort of use one drawer at a time just because of power usage. But still, air frying in the van wasn't something we were thinking about or considering, but now that we have the power bank, it makes it a possibility. So we're going to our dinner. We're going to have, let me see what's in the fridge actually. See what we brought. It actually feels like a proper kitchen, doesn't it? So we have creamy garlic potatoes, or potato gratin we call it, and chicken bites. So I'm going to leave that just closed over because I want to get a drink as well. So I don't actually do cooking, so I think what I'll do is I'll hand over to Tony to do this bit.
Okay, so an air fryer might be the lazy option whenever it comes to cooking, but having these home conveniences really make it feel like exactly that, a home on wheels. While we waited for dinner, Stephen was plotting our best route forward for the next stop along the Wild Atlantic Way, and Rosie was getting cosy in the van. Even she was adjusting and making herself at home with van life. With dinner set and a hearty meal being cooked in our air fryer, we enjoyed having the opportunity to just finally relax after a full day of driving and travel. There's a lot to be said for a nomadic lifestyle, and being able to just drive, park up and have your dinner somewhere adds a whole new level of meaning to the van life lifestyle.
Oh wow, these are these weird knife and forks. We got a camping knife and fork. Jesus, look at that. These actually feel quite nice, these forks. So it's been quite a long day. We've travelled quite a bit. We have had our dinner. First night sort of all van life experiences. I'm just having my dessert now. So we are going to wrap it up for now and head to bed. We've got the blinds up, just have one more to put on. Take Rosie out for a wee dander just before, and then head to sleep and pick up again tomorrow, which I think we're going to try and see Sleeve League tomorrow. So fingers crossed we can get near it.
So it's our first morning waking up here, and it's actually a nice sunny day. So while Stephen's getting his breakfast, I'm gonna take a little walk with Rosie and see this place in the sun before we move on for the day.
So we've just woken up after our first night, and it was so peaceful. We were the only people here. There wasn't even any cars passing on the road, so we've just had this spot completely to ourselves, which is a brilliant wee spot. We'll maybe put the 3 words for where this is, or a location or something. So we're just going to have our breakfast now. We did plan on like making a fry and stuff, but because we've got up a wee bit later, and we want to get to Sleeve League Cliffs because it can be quite busy, so we want to get there soonish. We're just going to have some cereal.
So we've just got to the second stop of what we wanted to do while we were on this Wild Atlantic Way trip, and it is the Sleeve League Mountains, which were the highest peaks in Ireland?
Europe, I think.
Europe.
Highest accessible sea cliffs, I think, if I read that right.
So a bit of history behind that for you. So we parked at the car park, so it's a bit of a shorter walk up. If you have a car, you can actually drive up this.
At some points of the year, I was saying the busy points, you wouldn't be able to.
But because we're in the camper, we can't drive up it.
Oh, but never make it up this hill.
No, we'd never make it up this hill.
If we're going to make it up this hill on foot.
So the parking price was €10, although it does say on Park for Night €5. So just keep that in mind if you are coming here.
Well, maybe see if
€10.
we can update that. So we will.
Yeah, we'll do a little entry on there. So yeah, let's go for a hike.
Oh, Jesus.
So actually now, sort of looking at it, once you get up the initial hill, it flattens out a bit. It's maybe not so bad. I was prepared for it to be hill the whole way up, but
I think if I had a bit much more of that, that would have been yeah, we'll turn back.
But it is class too, actually looking out at it and seeing it. All the formations. It's very windy, so hopefully you guys can hear this. If not, I'll put subtitles. It was amazing to see goats and sheep just hanging on the edge of a cliff. In fact, the entire scenery of the place was unlike anything that we'd ever seen before. Castles, mountains, rocks and cliffs. It was absolutely like something out of a fairy tale. Funny this time of year because it's like everybody's used to Ireland being so green. They call it the Emerald Isle. But whatever year we've hit it, just early spring, just after winter really. And
Very brown.
yeah, something around it. Reminds me of Scotland a bit more than Ireland.
Well, that's this area, so this area would be like that.
But it's still pretty cool. Be interesting to see what this would be like in the summer, if it would be more like fresh and green or if it would stay like this, you know?
I think it would stay more or less like this.
Yeah, it looks pretty dry. I feel like I say it a lot in these videos, but I'm such a big history nerd and I love anything to do with like myths and legends, particularly Celtic myths and legends. But I don't actually know the Sleeve League, but I've seen some rocks back there.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell us what the history was to this.
No,
I was
I don't
actually like,
actually know
oh, I
this
don't know
one.
what this is either.
I've seen some rocks back there with a lot of cows or bulls and like a woman or a goddess, which I'm assuming. So I'm assuming these have something to do with that. I took a little video, so I'll pop a little bit of footage in here, and then when I get back I will actually look up the meaning behind it.
Get back. We're not making it back.
We're stranded, although we are near the top.
Are we?
I would say we're near the top.
See people who say this walk's half an hour? It isn't. It's maybe half an hour for people who do this sort of thing all the time. But if you're like us, be warned. It's challenging.
It's a long walk, but it's not steep. The first bit was steep, and then it's pretty smooth sailing.
Maybe just because I'm cold.
Since then, it's not too bad at all. The walk was well worth it. We felt pretty much safe because everything was fenced off and we were never too close to the edge. It wasn't overly crowded and you pretty much had a good view of everything there was to see. So we finally got to the viewing point and we got some lovely pictures which I will insert right now. Hopefully our eyes are open on them because it's very, very windy. And now it's time to make our descent.
Oh, look, if I had stickers.
Oh yeah, I wonder who else has been here.
Have a look and see.
We know?
Can see any? What do we know?
Look up. Stephen was saying to me there that the way back was actually a lot nicer than the way up. I think because it's on the way up you just are determined to make it to the top and not really actually look at your surroundings as much. But 10 euro in, I'd say it was well worth admission. I also have to say we came pretty early because now we're noticing
Loads of people.
more tourists. Whenever we came, it was just us and one other group. But still, plenty of room. It's not an overcrowded place or anything. It's just been nice to...
I would say in the summertime it could be, look.
Yeah, probably in the summer. But yeah, so...
Every time Rosie sees a sheep, she thinks it's someone to play with. Look, look at her. She's like, oh my god, I can play with this.
I think we're going to head back now. Head to our next destination, our next park up.
So we've arrived at Downpatrick Head. This is an amazing park up to be had. Look at the view that we have, and it's quite quiet. So this car park looks like it's been done pretty fresh. We will have to put the van up on wheel shocks just to bring it up a wee bit, like, but again, like it's definitely one of the best park ups that we've had. So we're going to have a wee nosy around, maybe see about flying the drone, and then make ourselves dinner.
Downpatrick Head is based in County Mayo. It's called this because it's believed that St. Patrick derived one of his first churches here. There's a legend here about the rocks. It says that when the chieftain refused to let St. Patrick convert people here, he struck the ground with his crozier, causing the rock formations that you can see here. So we're doing what I would call like an Irish fry, or more like a fry that we would make in the north of Ireland, which we're known for. It includes Irish bread, like potato bread, I think it's Irish vegetable roll, which is like a minced meat. You can also have soda bread with this, you can have beans, you can have mushrooms. That's the joy of this type of fry, that we can throw it all together and just have it all in a big plate. Traditionally probably a morning food, but people eat it over here at any time of the day, and I think it's going to set us up really well after that walk.
How much would you pay in a hotel for that kind of view? Like, we're sitting here for free. Well, minus diesel.
Stephen wasn't wrong. How much would you pay for the beauty of this park up? And we were getting it all for free. So while we relaxed the rest of the night and watched the sunset, we found ourselves a little more grateful than before we began the trip. And as we watched the crashing waves and the golden sun set over Ireland's wild Atlantic way, we knew that we were in store for one of our greatest adventures yet.
It's one of the areas, like, it's going to be very hard to show people on camera, but it's one of the areas I think you'd say you have to come and see.
This could be the outback in Australia that we're travelling in right now. My name's Tony, and along with my partner Stephen and our dog Rosie, we'd like to invite you to subscribe and join us on this journey across Ireland's wild Atlantic way. It's been a long time getting our fan build to this point, and we want to thank each and every one of you who have joined us on our journey. We're thankful for all of the community and friends that we've built here on YouTube, and we hope that you'll have as much fun with this adventure series as we have.